delightful. And it's only made better by knowing that it's actually tea, not some other bodily extract. Unfortunately, Subaru wasn't so lucky, and I can almost hear a rather not-so-silent minority screaming out to at least give it a fair chance. Getting a little view into his past and family before he was born anew in this world, I can feel that this episode may be on the emotional side. But I'm going to have to find out though, so sit back and get yourself your own little drink. Let's get going. A relatively normal looking room. Not the morning wake up call I would have wanted. He's enjoying the fight back a bit too much, this father. Stop your foolishness. But there's something about this. I know it's part of like a dream trial thing, but there's an extra level of blur to it. Is this a piece? Is this a special occasion? If you want to grow up big and strong. How old? Come on, eat your peas. Give peas a chance. Those poor peas are getting a complex about not being wanted. Okay. That is a fair amount of peas, though. I could make a comment there. Is it? Great, you can have something in common where you can complain about the same thing. What have you done? Somehow, I kind of want that kind of rivalry and annoyance. It was better than the way of getting us to eat stupid food when we were kids. Still, the memory of sitting at the table for 8 hours until I finish my plate haunts me. It does feel as though there's some like vignette around the sides. Tick tock. Oh, everything's fine. What a relief. And how many of you say that your own rooms resemble that of Subaru's? Just moonwalking in. Just ignore the fact that he's clutching his heart, lying down on the bed, that's fine. Apart from casually dying, yeah. I mean, yes, there technically is. But is he just reliving memories at this point? Like, he's not. Because he's acting. I'm feeling as though this is just like a flashback rather than him actually going back and revisiting things. Somehow I had a slight little Roswell inflection. I heard that in the voice. Don't know if that was intended. I wonder if what he said there is any relevance. His pride and joy. I know it is somewhat of a common saying, but he's suffering quite a few aneurysms recently. But what? All the characters having that yellow glow around the lines. Caught him out. It's a good thing I have never had to battle with the shaken up fizzy cans before. Quite the attentive father. That's exactly what you're going to do. It's almost as if he's trying to get him to think that you're here for a reason, try to work it out, don't just go along with it. Hmm. We didn't really get a lot about Subaru before this whole went down. It was just we started with him at the outside the convenience store, and then him becoming aware he's in the capital. Not quite like what we got with Kazuma and why he was in that world. Education is important, but it's not the be all and end all. Ugh. I'm glad we don't have that special holiday. I quite liked his mother's eyes. What's wrong with it? Guess may need something like medical treatment, or at least examination. Oh, great. He's hallucinating. I think with me not quite knowing if this is meant to be beforehand or parallel. One thing I will say though is once the dream effect goes away, I'll be slightly happy. Wow. That that only took a little pressing to get him to realise. He's he's talking in a quite a verbose fashion compared to what it was. Have have many of us had a conversation like that with our parents, acknowledging your own weaknesses? So his world of seeming special was getting further and further out of his grasp. I guess that would be part of his character of why he's always trying to outdo and overdo everything, especially when he's putting on airs. And before he knew it, he was just the same old acting out child, and they didn't have the people behind him. Mm, you don't have to be special to have a place in the world. Not a great face to pull. It's also not good to base yourself around perfection or everyone else's abilities. There's always going to be someone better than you. Eve, I feel like if I had that slip of like not going to school once, it may have spiraled out of control. But I never reached that point, so it's not something I can relate to. he's he's glad that they never even thought about it, I guess. Well, now he knows that he has to pull through on this because there are people waiting for him. A headbutt usually doesn't come from the foot. Hmm. Flexible man, isn't he? Do something more than just, yeah, not go to school. What an idiot. I don't know why that having that confirmation and people hate you is something that people actually actively want to pursue. So everything that he's gained and done is from his own name, not what anyone expects of him. Hit him again! Probably the kindest thing he's going to go through. But everyone has their own issues that they're going through, whether it being simply not winning the races anymore, getting low test scores, or something much more complicated. That's gonna be a tough one. That's not a promise he's going to be able to uphold. Now it's a tough one. If you were brought back to a version of the world you left, would you want to know that it's not reality? Would you want to have the knowledge of the new life you have? Get in those early morning calisthenics. He does. Yeah. Go for it. Are we not going to spend any time with? Oh, it's one of his figures. Any time with the mother? You've served me well, room. No. I've had enough of mayonnaise thanks to Gintama. Huh. What's the. Yeah, the world is bigger than just mayonnaise. But why is it like his mother's questioning here is have such bigger ramifications? She's an enabler. Hmm. If I was about to ask, why is she just trailing behind, making sure he goes to school this time? Just see you to the gate. Just to the combini, is it? I guess having a new perspective on looking at things can give you a new lease on life and what you want to do. Minimal effort. Yeah, me. Probably. Um. Um. Yeah. Thanks. I'm glad to hear this, but some things can be kept private. I guess she's right. They do look a lot closely into his life than we realise. Yeah, there's definitely a vignette around it. It's strange for the last like 10 minutes or so, I've completely zoned out of the it looking like a dream sequence. That was the phrase that he ran away from. So you can half fail and it'll be fine. But then there'll be no room for her. There are a lot of tales of people getting depressed one because they're not living out the expectations. But sometimes you can just live your life the way you want, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, I guess. Did you have to do it over a railway track, or did they just really want that imagery and metaphor in there? He shouldn't pull such a serious face, he'll get wrinkles. Mother is Subaru's mother. Of course she'd know. I suppose. It would be so easy if life allowed you to have these kind of cathartic conversations when you need them. It's a nice way of thinking about it. In a manner of speaking, but also the method of how you reach the end matters. Every time he blinks and there's that yellow ring around his eyes, makes him look like he's got jaundice or something. Itakimasu. Is that like the last words she said before he moved on? And he didn't respond. But what is going to be the kick to the nads right here? Oh. She thought that he'd spend a lot more time reveling in his family for a bit more longer. Is this something that was set up by Echidna? And if so, why? The fact that the characters there are set as a mask for the butterflies is actually kind of interesting. I like that. I like it. I don't know if I paid attention. If this was something that Echidna did for him, it didn't have any straightforward, like, evil and intentions like you would usually expect. But maybe we'll just be waiting for the next episode for that. I'm not sure if it's a difference in my personal upbringing or a complete cultural difference here, but I never had that sense of needing to live up to what was expected of me because I was my father's child. And I wasn't as good as my dad in certain aspects. But it also helped that my dad wasn't particularly good at anything. not a really high hurdle to jump. I hope he doesn't see that. Well, among a lot of other things that might be an issue here, but love you, Dad. And I did say that this whole trial dream sequence didn't have any evil intentions and animosity. However, I remember the peas. Those damn peas. Can't remember ever a time being when I had peas for breakfast, though. Unless I've just reheated some leftovers. That's a possibility. If you enjoyed this episode, please let me know. And also subscribing to the channel if you think I earned it would be greatly appreciated. If the mystery of what Echidna is trying to achieve is intrigued you, you may want to stick around for more. To make sure you don't miss it, you could turn on notifications, but ultimately, all that matters is that you come back. So get some rest. I'll see you there. If you want to give me words of encouragement and advice when I inevitably have to relive sections of my life, then consider helping me out on Patreon now. Because Sal, Raywin, Deniment1997, Shiwan, Stinsfire, Mecha, Jennifer Rojas, Big Boy, Dark Shadow 7899 and everyone else have already made sure to make an appearance. It might just be to see me cry, I haven't worked it all out yet. Either way, thank you.